Happy Thursday, betting fans. Welcome into the FL1 Sports Betting Preview here on FingerLakes1.com. Paul Russo here, joined by Kyle Evans and Jim Sinicropi. Boys, happy Thursday. Audio only for the moment here until I get connection back to the tablet, but it's been quite the week so far. Kyle, good to see you back in studio after came down with something in your back.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty bad for 4 days. Wasn't out of bed much, but still was able to watch sports. Made a few bets, and of course, haven't had much luck lately, but hopefully I'll bounce back.
Yeah, we didn't have you obviously for Bills Weekly. I recommend if you don't listen to that, go check it out. But quick little second here. What was your takeaway from the win last Thursday for them? And also at the trade deadline, made a move to kind of shore up the secondary a little bit.
Yeah, it came down to the very end, and it shouldn't have been that way. The Bills should have taken care of business a lot earlier. And, it was still an enjoyable game. And as far as the trade deadline, I think it was a good addition to the roster. Okay.
All right, happy Thursday, betting fans. Welcome into the FL1 Betting Preview here on FingerLakes1.com. Paul Russo, Jim Sinicropi, nice little brain fart I had right there for a moment. Kyle Evans, all here in studio. Kyle, good to see you back in studio this week. Good to see, I'm assuming you're feeling better, obviously.
Would you have a cold or COVID? What was it?
I don't know. I had a fever, cough, headache, all of it, basically. So, yeah, I was in bed for a few days, and I'm just glad to be back. I definitely wanted to be here Monday, but didn't want to get you guys sick, of course. And
Nope.
Appreciate that.
It was a fun time at the game. I did go to the Bills game last Thursday. Shouldn't have never came down to that last play.
Yeah, it wasn't
Bills should have
crazy.
taken care of business much
Did you
earlier.
watch our show Monday?
I didn't get a chance yet.
I mean, that was the theme of it, was like, geez, it was a big win for the Bills, but my goodness, they could have easily lost that game, and they
Yeah.
just still don't appear to be that dominant, AFC title contender right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a minute for you, Kyle. What are your thoughts fully there on the game and at the trade deadline, too, for the Bills? Shored up the secondary a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, I thought the Bills should have taken care of business a lot earlier, finished some of those drives that got across midfield. There was like a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2. They didn't go for either one. They punted. I probably would have liked them to go for at least one of them. You have Josh Allen as your quarterback. I thought Allen played well again. And as for the trade deadline, I do like the move, Russell Douglas. I think that definitely helps the secondary. I don't know if you guys have seen the stat, but in the last 2 years, he has 10 interceptions, the third most in the entire league. So he's a takeaway machine, and I think that's what the Bills need. They haven't had a ton of interceptions since Trey White's gone down.
What about Fournette signing?
Yeah, practice squad for now. I do think he'll be elevated and eventually signed to the active roster. I think it'll eventually be Cook and Fournette. I'm feeling like they're going to move on from Murray, although I thought it was kind of shocking that Murray came out as the starter again last Thursday. He came out and got the first few plays going, and then James Cook started to get going. They seem to have done that a few times this year, so I don't know what they're thinking there. I thought Murray is mostly like a goal line back,
Yeah,
and
short
it
yard.
doesn't seem to be the case. And I think Fournette would do a better job at that. So, yeah, I expect to see both. I'm not sure we see Fournette Sunday. I do think we'll see Douglas Sunday, though.
All right, before we get any further, handle a quick podcast business and thank today's sponsor, Chino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. You can visit Chino's Pizzeria and Restaurant at their original Waterloo location or their all-new renovated location in Geneva. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, catering, and banquets. Order online at chichinos.com. Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way. And it's weather like this that I'm very thankful for their greens and beans.
I got a hot tip for you. Not only are we going to give you betting tips, but I got a hot pizza tip for you.
Yes.
A lot of places around here, you can't get that true New York style pizza. And one way to get it is when you order pizza from Cicino's, ask for the extra large. Because they essentially take the same amount of dough that they would use for a large and they spread it thinner. And that's my go-to pizza in this area is the extra large from Cicino's.
That is the move.
Yeah. Have you done that?
I have
So
actually.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I go either way on pizza. I don't mind it, but when you're spot on, right? That New York style, that nice thin. Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's the way to do it. All right, so let's take a look at our bet card from Week 8, and it wasn't exactly a banner week across the board for I guess maybe truly any of us, but Kyle,
Kyle got back on the winning track.
you got back on the winning track there a little bit. Nailed right out of the gate Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 receptions. Ended up, I believe, with 5,
easy, yep.
if memory serves me right. Absolutely nailed the Lions pick. I will give you partial credit for having Josh McDaniels fired overnight last night. The only loss for you was the actual outright upset of Carolina over Houston.
That was awful.
Yeah, lost to the winless Panthers.
They
So.
let him drive down the field at the end. I lost on that game.
Yeah.
And then, if you look at my bets last week, the Utah game wasn't even close.
No.
I had home. I
That
guess. So they lost an 18-game home winning streak snapped, and I lost that one. I lost on Tennessee Atlanta, which just turned into a shootout for some reason, and then of course the New York Giants Jets under was the lock of the week.
Yeah, it wasn't even a sweat.
Punt game. You'll have to see it for the punters.
Was it 23 punts combined?
4.
It's so bad. So
And
bad.
the NFL record was like 27.
Yeah.
So, yeah, boring game.
That Utah game did surprise me, Jim, because although not one of my picks outright on here, I was on that Saturday.
Changed the way I think about Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Oh, it has to, yeah.
I think that they're going to be that 4th team in the college football playoffs. And I'll be looking at opportunities maybe to bet on their side going forward. But I do like Utah this week coming off of that loss.
Yeah.
At home again, this time against Arizona State. It's not going to be one of my picks, but on the show. But I do like the Utes to bounce back.
Yeah, and then another rough week for me. It's happening, but yeah, Marshall just lost to a backup quarterback in Coastal. Don't know what happened there, but they're off my radar at this point in the Sun Belt. But
Steelers game was just ugly in
yeah.
the rain. He could have won that bet
Yeah.
as easily as he lost it. But another team that I like this week would be the Steelers.
yeah, and then the Vikings was on the right side of that game, and even unfortunately without Kirk Cousins, that still wasn't even close at the end. So yeah, it's always good to at least get in the win column eventually at some point there. So yeah, Week 8 in the books.
Yeah, I got to tell you, in prepping for the show and looking at things in general this week, some interesting things about the NFL this year. So far through the halfway point of the season, fewest points scored as a league in over a decade. Fewest touchdowns scored since the beginning, early 2000, since 2000. Fewest yards per completion since the 1970s. So scores are down, offense is down, and I started to ask myself why. Like if you were a pure under better every single game, you would be killing it this year. Doesn't mean every game goes under, but I don't have the actual number, but it's probably like 65 to 70% of NFL games have been under. And, part of that is like the public likes to bet, especially in primetime games. And so I think, why is that? Well, in primetime games, I think especially the public generally likes to bet overs because they're betting something's going to happen. If you bet the under, you're betting things aren't going to happen. So just generally, I think, especially on those primetime games where there's more action across the board, that people bet the over, and so the lines makers will artificially, probably add a couple points to that over what they really think it should be. But then I was also thinking about it even a little more deeper, and listen to these quarterbacks.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields out, Anthony Richardson out, Deshaun Watson out, Kirk Cousins now out, Daniel Jones has been out, Aaron Rodgers obviously out, Ryan Tannehill out, and so you've got guys like Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell, your boy Sam Howell, Mac Jones, Desmond Ridder, Jordan Love. I mean,
Even Kenny Pickett left the game last week. It was Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, so he's going to be out now too. But these guys are not like, gunslingers. They're just not.
Yeah.
So I think quarterback play is one of the primary reasons, and I think offensive coordinators are then scheming to put these inexperienced and not as skilled quarterbacks in positions to not lose the game rather than being aggressive.
Yeah, it has been frustrating to watch sometimes too, right? I mean, the prime example, right, in my mind is on paper that under you were spot on with in that Tennessee Atlanta game, Jim, right?
Should have been.
Right, and not only, right, Desmond Ridder gets pulled in that game, and you have Heineke in, but, I mean, you kind of mentioned, obviously Tannehill goes down, and I think Malik Willis actually started the game initially for
Heineke
Tennessee.
versus Willis,
Yeah.
you're thinking, like, how is anybody going to score?
Right, and then it ends up being, at the end, Heineke versus Levis.
Yeah,
and
Levis.
it just ends up becoming, frankly, and I don't mean to dunk on them, but like that, they both come from, well, Levis is from Kentucky, but I mean, it's like watching literally if they went to their alma maters and Old Dominion versus Kentucky play and ends up just being a college shootout game.
DeAndre Hopkins was open all day long, and that'll happen. But the under has been the play in the NFL this year.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if it's a similar exact number in college, but the under is being more hit there than usual as well. So I don't know. It's one of those things where, like everything, it kind of just ebbs and flows, right? But it's one of those things that if you look back, like even from last year to the year prior and everything like that, and kind of have to scrap 2020 because it was such a different animal with the COVID rules and games being moved and stuff like that. But it's been a trend that way the past few years. It's been interesting. So I guess you guys want to jump into our picks here for the week? I don't think there's anything major else to kind of touch on, I think, for the week anyway. I could be wrong.
Except we got our first Germany game coming up this Sunday.
Wow.
9:30. It's the best game of the week, too, and it's going to be at 9:30 in the morning in Germany. I mean, come on, NFL. Who cares?
We have the Tyreek Hill revenge game, possibly. First game against the Chiefs since the trade. So
You don't see Champions League games coming over and being played in the U.S. They play friendlies over here sometimes, but I mean, if the people in Europe want to watch, they can tune in on TV. I don't want to. I'm actually going to be playing golf at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday, so I'm not even going to watch that Miami Kansas City game, and that would be a great game to watch. It should be in the 4:00 window, in America. So
I don't disagree.
I can't stand it. These stupid Europe games.
Yeah, I'm with
It's
you.
worse next week. The Colts and Patriots in Germany.
Yeah.
No, I think it's better. We send the Patriots over there. Finally, we get a road game in that series. All right, that was a really bad history joke on my end. So, Kyle, pick floor is yours. Save me from my own demise.
So I'm going to totally change things up. I did one player prop last week, and I'm just going to go all player props. I went through all the games and tried to pick the best 3 player props I could find. Did a lot of research, so I hope this goes 3-0. So I'm going to start with tonight. I got Derrick Henry, 60-plus rushing yards versus the Steelers. The Steelers' defense allows the 6th most rushing yards per game. And I know Will Levis looked really good last week throwing the ball, but I do think they're going to run knowing that the Steelers struggle with stopping the run. So
And I think, the Steelers are going to get more pressure on Levis tonight than the Falcons did last week. So I think that they're going to struggle to pass. And, Yeah, I agree. I like that pick.
Yeah, and then I'm going to do another running back pick. I'm going to do Jonathan Taylor over 64.5 rushing yards against the Panthers. His workload has increased a lot in the last 2 weeks. He's got 30 carries, and Carolina allows the fourth most rushing yards per game. So that is my pick. That's my second pick. And then my last pick is going to be the Sunday night football game. I got Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdown passes. It's hit in 6 of the 8 games this year, including 5 straight. And I think there will be quite a bit of points scored in this game. So I like that.
Nice.
I can't disagree with any of those preps.
No, they're all good. Jim, you good to go?
Yeah, I'm going to take 2 on the NFL side and 1 on the college side. On the college side, I'm going to go with Kansas State +7 at Texas. Kansas State scored over 38 points in their last 3 games. They have 2 quarterbacks they play. One's a freshman and one a little more mobile, but they have been going with this 2-headed monster at quarterback, and they've been putting up 38 points a game, over 38 points in their last 3 games. Texas is going for a second straight win with a backup quarterback, but this K-State defense is 4th in the nation against the run, which means that I just think there's going to be some crucial downs where this Texas's backup quarterback is going to need to make plays, and I like K-State +7 at Texas.
Love it.
And then on the NFL side, I'm going with another under pick this week. Colts at Panthers, under 44 points. 44 seems like a lot for 2 teams that, you got Bryce Young at quarterback and is it Minshew for the Colts starting? So, in decent defenses. Again, I'm just tending to look for spots to bet unders now after knowing what we've seen so far.
Right.
But I also like the Colts -2.5. Panthers won their first game last week of the season. Colts have kind of had another tough loss that they could have won. So I do like the Colts -2.5, but my pick is under 44. And then my second pick this week is the Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Cowboys, giving up 3. And I love to bet against the Cowboys whenever I get an opportunity. And, of course, last week they just rolled over the Rams. And if you remember, go back, 4 or 5 weeks now, the Cowboys were rolling, and everybody was thinking, oh, look at the Cowboys. And then they went to San Francisco and got absolutely smacked. Well, that's what's going to happen here in this divisional game in Philadelphia. The Cowboys are going to come in riding high off that Rams victory, and they're just going to get spanked by the Eagles, who have a better defense, a better quarterback, better coaching.
Would love to see it.
Yeah.
I think all of us would like to see that.
So -3. I wish it was 2.5, but it's 3. When I actually place my bet on it, I probably will tease it down under the 3 to 2.5. But I might regret doing that because I think it's going to be a walk in the park for the Eagles.
Right. All right. So I'm taking a break from the NFL because I don't know what the hell I'm doing there at this point, admittedly. So I have 3 college picks this week.
Your only win last week was in the NFL.
I know, that's the wild part about it. But me and Kyle were talking off air. If you look at my Pickett app, my numbers beg to say otherwise on Sundays. So I'm taking FAU -1 on the road at UAB. Tom Herman's got that team in a pretty good spot against Trent Dilfer, first-year coach at UAB, and FAU is just the better team, so I'm going to go there. Next one, I can't remember the exact number I'm about to drop stat-wise on you, but in the Big 12, where you see a handful of these new teams in this year, right, BYU, UCF, Cincinnati, Houston. I believe Houston is the only newcomer in the Big 12 to beat a traditional Big 12 team so far. So with that in mind, I'm going to take West Virginia -10 at home against BYU. They're coming off a big win at UCF, and they welcome in a new Big 12 team, so I'm going to stick with the Mountaineers on that one. And then my last one, sticking with the team I took last week, not on here but on Fresh Takes, I'm going to take SMU -12 at Rice. That Mustang offense is high-powered, really good.
And Rice is Rice.
And Rice is Rice, who they've been better this year, but they aren't going to be able to keep pace with the ACC version of the Pony Express. going on. So I do, however, can I do a couple sprinkles right here just for people to keep an eye on? Nebraska -3 at Michigan State this week. Like Nebraska there. Michigan State I have on quit watch at this point, so got that. Fresno State -3 at home against Boise State. Fresno coming now they did actually come back and beat UNLV last week, but it took them all but about 5 minutes of the game to get to that point. And then my other one is Air Force and Army, both the under 31 and some sort of action on Air Force. But the under's in the...
Is that something, though? That's another one of those military academies matching up where they go under, like, all the time, and that line's 31.
Yep.
And I was afraid to bet Air Force Navy when the line was, like, 32 or 33, and, of course, that went under. This one will probably go under. And speaking of unders, did you see the over-under on the Iowa game?
Not this... Oh, they're playing Northwestern in, by the way, Wrigley Field this week.
Yeah, and do you know what the over-under is?
Is it... I thought I saw 30.
30.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I mean, but you'd be wise to take the under.
I was about to say...
I think that the true over-under in that game is probably should be like around 24 or 25.
Right, yeah.
But they could never put that there.
No.
So
I mean, I hit that Iowa under against Minnesota 2 weeks ago, and that was also at 30, and that game only got to 22. So...
yeah, it's nuts how low scoring the Iowa games are and the service academies when they play each other. So
I think the under collectively on service academy games so far this year is like 40, or in the past, I forget what the number is, but it's like 44. Well, now it's actually not that. I think it's 46, 11, and 1 in the past like 3 years.
yeah,
so,
it's amazing. I mean, it's probably one of the most amazing betting trends out there.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why there gets to be such a wide disparity is because the lines makers can only put the over-under so low before nobody will take it.
Right.
Everybody else. So.
And even then, I mean, we talk about, looking at different stuff, right? So obviously one of the options you always have on most games is there's some sort of alternative line you can do. And I can tell you this, Service Academy ones always have the less number of alternative lines available to you. They don't go very far at that point either. So, but yeah, I mean, Army coming off just a brutal loss to UMass. Army's in a bad spot right now. They're transitioning playing style, but like
Syracuse beat them.
You can't lose to UMass in my mind. So, and Air Force coming off of the first snow game of the year before action happened this week. So, but that's what I got. My picks in the sprinkles there. So. Do with that what you will. I think we're entering fade Paul territory almost at this point. So.
Yeah, bet against Paul.
Yes, agreed. So other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I mean,
well, when we're just straight up making these three picks, and I know that a lot of people don't like parlays, and a lot of the sharp bettors will say, parlays are bad bets. You should just bet straight up. But I just can't bring myself to bet straight up where I'm going to get less money back than I'm wagering. I like to get an odds advantage, and I mentioned it on the show before. I like to do two-team favorite parlays and two-team teased parlays. I just like the idea of betting $10 to win 25 on two likely outcomes. Now nothing's easy, but on my DraftKings account. Right now, I start with $100 on the year, and I have $220 in there. So I'm up great. But that's with a caveat. Every single day on DraftKings, there's a no-sweat bet. So, like last night, I bet a three-way parlay on the World Series game 5, was it? Mm-hmm. It's over now. So I bet no under a half a run in the first inning, parlayed with under 8.5 total runs, and then the Diamondbacks to win. So I didn't win that one, but I didn't lose anything either, But so the way that works is now tonight when I put a bet in on the football game, the Thursday night game, I'll have that no sweat bet, and then another no sweat bet.
Right.
So it's not a free bet. You have 2 chances to win on a $10 bet instead of 1. And so when I say that I am up, I'm up 120% on the year. But that's not just on straight betting. That's taking advantage of the no sweat bets and then also they offer all sorts of crazy profit boosts, you know.
Yeah, 50% boost tonight.
Right. So you're crazy not to take advantage of those. And so I don't know if, you know, if it was the old days and you were just betting straight up with your bookie or whatever, I probably would be somewhere hovering around even money right now. But with all those bonuses, I'm up. And as I shared with you guys and everybody who listens to this early on in the season, is my goal is to, you know, accumulate through the Super Bowl. That includes college basketball betting, which I like to do a lot of.
Next Monday,
and
do you
then
have me
let
ready?
it ride. Yeah, Monday night starts. And then let it ride, you know, on the big game in the Super Bowl, anything that I've won. And then at that point, take a profit if you can. Like you have to. And if I got up enough now, I would take some money back too, because nobody on these services, it's very rare that you are actually withdrawing your money. You're depositing money, and then you're losing it, and then you're depositing more. And a lot of people, they get up, and then so they'll bet more.
Yep.
You gotta, when you have a chance, withdraw some money. You gotta take some profit when you can. So, anyways, long story short, that's just kind of where I am this year overall. We make these single picks on the show, but I rarely ever place straight up single bet. I shouldn't say that. I probably, if I make 10 bets on a weekend, 2 or 3 of them are probably straight.
Yeah.
But a lot of those are also money line bets on underdogs sometimes where they're plus. I just hate putting up $10 to win 9.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's a personal pet peeve of mine.
I mean, I kind of do something similar-ish with like same game parlays, especially like in the NBA. I'll just pick 3 guys to either hit a 3 or hit 2 threes or something like that, and usually it comes out to just about, you know, even money, so you can do a double up of sorts and
Right.
kind of keep it going. But yeah, I mean, I do, like I said, for me it's like that same game parlay thing where I kind of do something similar. So
Last year, college basketball, I did something a little different too. I would bet a 2-teamer, usually straight up against the spread. And if I won, I would roll it all over and bet another 2-teamer the next night. And if that won, I would roll that over. And now all of a sudden, I've got like
right.
I've got like maybe $150 to $200 bet to win $600, $700, $800. And so you need to win 3 2-teamers in a row.
Right.
And then I will withdraw that money and start over. So start with just $10 on a 2-teamer that usually will pay somewhere around, you know, $30, $40, $50 depending on the odds. And then the next night, that $30, $40, $50 bet will pay something like, you know, $150. And then the third time you roll it over would be when you get the big payout. Now, it's tough to win 3 2-teamers in a row, but it happens a couple times. And I found with college basketball more success doing it that way than just 2-team parlays, you know, betting 4 2-team parlays in one night and then 4 2-team parlays the next night or whatever. So it's as similar as blackjack with progressive betting.
Yeah.
Because when you're hot, you need to capitalize because you're generally not going to, you're going to get hot and bursts.
Yeah.
So anyways,
That's a pretty good analogy right there.
Yeah.
So I like that. A little blackjack might be in my future anyway now, so I'm kind of with that, Jim. I like that. I like that a lot.
But we're talking sports betting, not table games.
Yeah. Different conversation. So yeah, I think that'll pretty much.
What do you guys think about the Bills Sunday night game? The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. I like the Bengals.
Yeah, I unfortunately like the Bengals as well at this point.
Kyle's his heart hurts right now. He's trying to bet with his heart.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough game for the Bills. I don't even think I'm going to try betting any of it,
I'm not
though.
going to bet it either.
I mean, I took Josh Allen's touchdowns, but aside from that, I'm not going to touch it.
Well, I'll do some sort of parlay for all the primetime games. I like to have something.
Just ready for Chris Collinsworth to constantly bring up Mahomes when Allen's out there.
Now here's a guy.
Or how about Bajet? You thought that Bajet was the next Tom Brady on the Sunday night game cut last week.
Not me.
Bears Chargers was it game?
Yeah.
Not a fan of only 3 4 o'clock games, by the way, because of the Germany game. It takes one away.
Right, yeah, I can't stand. I don't like it either. I
Now
do not like it.
Got 4 teams on bye this week again, so
Yep.
it's just brutal.
How about the Chargers Jets Monday night in
That's a tough one
in
to
New
call.
Jersey?
The Jets games are always tough. Like, I would normally like the under in that game.
Right now it's at 40.
Yeah, but the Chargers defense is not great.
Yep.
And, can the Jets defense hold the Chargers offense to under 24 points, basically? Because if if Chargers score 24, it's probably going to go over that 40. But so that's a tough one. I have trouble with some of the Jets games. Unless they play someone horrible like the Giants with a decent defense. That was an easy under bet last week.
Yeah. I say the Jets in that matchup anyway.
Jets to win?
Ooh.
I'm agent of chaosing it at this point.
Plus 145 right now.
Look, you brought up Sam Howell earlier. I'm surprised Ron Rivera wasn't the first coach fired this year. So I'm just all for at this point having coaches be fired. Agent of chaos. Brandon Staley's next.
Did you hear how Josh McDaniel got fired?
So I don't know is that accurate.
I don't
know.
know. 'Cause it's
That's my
craziest-
thing about that
craziest
one. I
story.
don't know if that's accurate.
Well, if people don't know, the story goes that they lose on Monday Night Football. The next day is Halloween. Josh McDaniels comes dressed as his costume is Mike Davis, the son of Al Davis, and Mark, the son of Al Davis and the owner of the Raiders. And Mark Davis seems to think it's kind of a funny, And so what he does is he orders him lunch from P.F. Chang's, and says this will complete your outfit because he always orders P.F. Chang's for lunch. So now Josh McDaniels is eating his P.F. Chang's, and he gets to the fortune cookie, and he opens it up, and it says, "You're fired, hotshot." The fortune.
Yeah, I don't know if that.
And The Athletic wrote that
hard
article, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be reliable.
I don't know though. Like I have a hard time believing that.
It's not like it was a random blog. I mean, it's The Athletic. They're usually, I would say, reliable.
Right.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. It really is. But imagine getting fired by a fortune cookie. Plus, he must have had to.
It might be the most Raider thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, as it stands right now.
And the next day they fired the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And
The GM also got fired.
Yep.
You know who else lost their job was.
And then Jimmy Garoppolo goes to the bench.
Right.
Yeah, which is nuts.
It's
Over
just
8
a lot of moves.
Yeah. Former Syracuse standout running back David Walker got fired as the Bears running backs coach.
Really, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Man.
The only reason I saw is because he's a Syracuse guy. Too bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll find work.
Yeah.
But he's got to be getting up there. He's got to be pushing 60 years old, maybe even older. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Good luck, boys, this weekend. Another weekend. We're on to the second half of the NFL season.
Crazy to think about.
Yep.
Good luck to you guys as well. On that note, we'll head out here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Good luck, everybody. Hopefully you get to go to the window and get some money at the end of this deal. And we'll talk with everybody again next Thursday.